Okay, here we are again. Today, on this video, we're going to make some stuffed bell peppers. It's like a three-step deal. We're going to cook the rice and get that prepared in one pan. We're going to prepare the meat and onions in another. And when those are done, we're going to put our peppers on a tray, and we're going to bake them. Now, before we get started, I want to make sure that I'm going to turn on my oven, and I'm going to use an electric skillet for cooking the rice. That's my favorite way of doing it. I make my Spanish rice that way, and I also make my bell pepper filling that way. So, without much more ado, I'm going to show you what equipment I'm going to be using, and let's get going and have some fun. Okay, here's what we're going to need to do the filling. First of all, I'm going to use an electric skillet, and you're going to need a wood spatula to stir that around because you don't want to scratch up the Teflon in the inside. We're going to need rice. I use olive oil. Ketchup. You're going to need a couple of measuring cups. A 1 cup and a 2 cup is always nice. Some chicken bouillon, some diced tomatoes, a little bit of tomato sauce. And I really like using this Rotel original tomatoes with green chilies. It adds just the right amount of flavor. Now the oil is we're gonna cook the rice a little bit in oil before we proceed to add the other ingredients. Okay, here's what we have. We got a stainless steel stock pot. I love these stock pots. This one here is a 6-quart, I believe. We got the baking sheet to bake our our bell peppers on. Pound of hamburger, approximately 1 big onion. I have Lowry's seasoning salt because I love Lowry's. And for our bell peppers, we're going to shred up some Chihuahua Laurel cheese. Now, Chihuahua cheese is different than anything you'll find in America. I guess probably the closest you'll come is maybe some Monterey Jack. I don't like using mozzarella because mozzarella has no flavor, and to me it's not even really cheese. I guess the closest you could come in flavor would be a bit of a sharp cheddar cheese. Works really well. But the cheese is up to you, but this stuff melts and flows real well and mixes real well with all the foods. So let's get at it and make us some stuffed bell peppers. Okay, let's get started. I've added a little bit of oil. I'm going to put a little bit more in here. Heat your electric skillet up to somewhere between 250 and 300 degrees, anywhere in there, whatever you feel comfortable with. When this is hot, we're going to dump in about a half a cup of rice. Okay? Now, get this stirred around and mixed into that oil real well. Now what we're going to do is we're going to toast this rice just a little bit. Be careful not to burn it. You got to keep it moving around a little bit. It doesn't take long. You'll see some of it starting to get a little tan, and that's what we're looking for. You don't want to burn it, but you want to, just kind of brown it a little bit. It doesn't take long. And while that is doing that, I'm going to put together, I think I'm going to add probably a full cup of ketchup. To this. This is what really makes your stuffed bell peppers taste great. Okay? Now we're starting to get, they're starting to tan a little bit. I'm liking that. All right, at this point, we're going to take these rotel, however you pronounce that, and we'll dump that in there. And it gets the sizzling and the cooking. I'm also going to dump in my can of tomatoes. Get those stirred around in there and mixed around pretty good. Now I have crumbled up 2 of those chicken bouillon cubes into warm water. Now we're going to add those in here and stir that around. Now, at first, until this all comes to a boil, there's really no need to do much to it other than cover it up and let her heat up. But once it starts boiling, you're going to have to go in and stir it so it doesn't stick to the bottom. Okay, now we're gonna do the prep for our meat, and I've already peeled the onion. We're going to dice this onion up a little. You don't have to be too particular about it, but you want it diced up. Alright, and we're going to put that into this stock pot, just like that. Okay. Also, we're going to add 1 cup of water to this stock pot. And now we're going to add our meat. Now I know it sounds a little crazy boiling the meat, but trust me, that's the best way to do this. So we're going to put our kilo of meat in, or our pound of meat in there. And we're going to use to mix that up a little bit. Now we're also going to add some Lowry's. At this point, we're going to put it on the stove and cook it down. Okay, I cut off a chunk about, I don't know, 8 or 10 ounces of this cheese. I'm going to shred this up. This is the cheese that's going to go on the top. Now, this, like I said, is Chihuahua cheese. It's a Laurel, what they call Chihuahua Laurel cheese. Now, it's a white cheese. It melts really good. It's more kind of, I like to compare it more like with a Monterey Jack, or the flavor is kind of like not a super sharp, but kind of a sharp cheddar cheese. But the cheese you use is up to you. I just don't like mozzarella. And it's just simple. You just shred it up, and you're good to go. You see what kind of stuff we get here. So I'm going to go ahead and shred this up and get ready to stuff my peppers. Okay, over here, as you can see, we got our meat going here in the pan. We mix that around good, and it'll start to boil, and it'll commence the cooking, and it won't take long. And this will be all ready to add to our rice. Okay, now we're going to prepare our peppers. I've got 3 of them here. You'll notice they're starting to wrinkle a little. That's because I bought them a few days ago. And we're going to cut the core out of them like this, and then split them in half. Clean these up real good. Knock the seeds out of there. We don't want any of them seeds in there. Now, it doesn't matter whether they're green peppers or the orange ones, just bell peppers. And It's nice if you can get them where they got like 4 sides to them. I don't know what the difference is, but the way they, and the bigger the pepper, the better off you are. The better you get, you know, you get a nice sized bell pepper, and it just makes things so much nicer. Okay? Get these cleaned up and get them ready to go. I'll get back to doing the rest of these when they're in the pan. Okay. Oh, this stuff is boiling down good, and it looks like it's ready. Like I said, you got to keep it moving around in there. Now, this is where the meat that we cooked up, we strained it, and it goes in. Meat and onions. We're going to mix that around in there. Now, we're also going to add, where did I put it? We're also going to add some tomato sauce to this. It says 210 grams. I don't know how much that is in ounces, but we're going to add that in. And you're going to have to add salt as well. Now, at this point, we want to turn that temperature down. Bring it down around 200 or so. Everything is already hot and it's already cooked. It just needs to be mixed together and blended. Now, we're going to pour in our ketchup. Like I said, about a cup, and then we'll try test it for flavor and see how it tastes. You mix that ketchup up in there with your hamburger and your onions and your rice. It smells good. It's looking real good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this skillet down to where it's just on warm. And I'm going to cover it back up, and it gives a chance for all of these ingredients and flavors to mix together real well. And I want to cover it back up and just leave it set for a few minutes while I'm getting other things ready, like my peppers on the tray and that sort of thing. Okay, I put these into the oven to bake for about 15 minutes or so while I was making the filling. You'll notice they're softer. And the reason I do this is I found that if you pre-bake them a little bit while you're making the filling and the stuffing, that when you've got them all ready to go in the oven with the cheese and everything, first of all, it doesn't take as long, and they come out better because the cheese, by the time the green peppers are soft enough to eat, the cheese is actually getting too done, and it gets crispy. So it's better to pre-cook the green peppers a little bit, and then go ahead and fill them and then put them back in long enough to melt the cheese and maybe brown it a little bit. So the next step is we're going to fill these babies and put them in the oven. Okay, these are going to be a little warm and a little hot to handle, but what we're going to do is we're going to put a pinch of cheese, just a pinch, in each one of these peppers. You don't need very much, just a pinch in the bottom of them. It adds for good eating later. So we put a pinch of cheese in the bottom of each one of these. Just like that. And now we're going to stuff them. They're a little warm, but that's okay. So what we're going to do is put this in there with a spoon and squish it into the ends and up underneath. Make sure you get them filled good. Fill them right up full. Pack it in there good. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put some cheese on the top of it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and finish these up and get them ready to go into the oven and then come back to you. These are going to be good. Okay, here's what we have. Some super good, super delicious stuffed bell peppers. Now, these have been baking for about 25, right around 25 minutes after I got them all put together at about 400 degrees. Now you want to keep checking on them, but let's pull our plate here and see what we've got. Take one off the end here. Alright. Get a fork. Oh, just right. These babies are perfect. Whoa. They're hot too. Right there. Check that out. Those are delicious. Okay. We made our bell peppers. They turned out terrific, I gotta say. These things are delicious. To die for. You follow that recipe, guaranteed, you won't go wrong. You'll love them. Now, for a quick review, get your stuff around, start cooking your rice in the skillet, cook your meat in a stock pot, and while those are cooking, cut your green peppers, put them on a tray, stick them in the oven at 400 degrees for about 15 minutes. By the time those are done, you'll have all your other stuff ready. Shred your cheese, bring your peppers out, stuff them, put the cheese on them, back in the oven for about 25 minutes at about 400 degrees. Guaranteed, you'll love them. You'll love them. Just watch it, and when the cheese starts to turn a little golden, just like you would if it was a pizza, they're done. See you next time. Enjoy.